Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Buffalo SportsCenter. I am Don, and today we are going to discuss how the Sabres can keep their playoff hopes alive and maybe make a run to the postseason. It's a very small window, but it is possible. But before I get to all of that, make sure to hit that like button and to subscribe. Of course, follow us on Instagram, join the Discord, follow us on TikTok. All of those links are in the description box down below. Check those out. Now let's talk about where the Sabres stand as we come out of this NHL All-Star break and move into the second half of this 2023-24 season. Let's just say things have not gone according to plan for the Buffalo Sabres. They have been extremely inconsistent, very mediocre as well, and that's why their current record is what it is. They are 22, 23, and 4, only 48 points, a .490 win percentage as well on the season, and they're only on pace for 81 points. And that 81 points is a far cry, of course, from where the Sabres finished last year, where the Sabres were 1 point out of a playoff spot. They had 91 points, their first winning season in over a decade. It was a season of firsts, and many people expected the Sabres to build off of that heading into this season, but that just hasn't happened. The Sabres have not been able to string wins together. They usually go win, loss, win, loss. Their highest win streak of the season is only 2. That's it, 2. They haven't had a 3-game or more win streak, and that's the really frustrating part because the Sabres have had plenty of opportunities to do so. They have had multiple blown chances, and it's not like this team is extremely bad. This team, I would say, is still not that far away from where they want to be. The problem is their inconsistency, and some injuries really haven't helped, most notably to Matthias Samuelsson and Jack Quinn, both of whom will miss either most or part of the rest of the season. Now, I did mention where the Sabres stood last year. Let's just talk about what they need to do right now in order to even match what they did last year. You see the record at the bottom of the screen, 20, 10, and 3. The Sabres need to get 20 wins from their final 33 games if they are to match their point and record totals from last year. That is a huge that's a really big hurdle to climb, especially given how this team has performed this year. It's really difficult to envision this team winning more than 2 games. They have a decently not too hard schedule to end the season, and they really need to capitalize on that. They have a lot of easy games coming up in the month of February, no back-to-backs, so really no excuses to come out and be flat like they have in multiple games this season. But this point total here, this record total, going 20, 10, and 3 just to hit 42 wins, I don't even think that's going to be enough. The Sabres are going to have to do better than what they did last year if they are to make the postseason. The biggest reason why I say that is because of how other teams around them are performing, like the Detroit Red Wings, who, unlike the Sabres, unlike the Senators, the Red Wings have taken that step forward. They have jumped into playoff contention. They have leaped over teams like the Pittsburgh Penguins, the New York Islanders, the Washington Capitals, the New Jersey Devils, and the Sabres, Senators, of course, Canadians as well. So the Detroit Red Wings currently occupy that second wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference, and you can see at the bottom of the screen, this is how they're projected to do over an 82-game schedule. They currently have 26 wins, 18 losses, 6 overtime losses. That puts them at 58 points, 10 points ahead of where the Sabres currently stand. If they were to continue, if we were to extrapolate this sort of record over an 82-game season, you can see down there the Red Wings would be on pace for about 43 wins, about 30 losses, about 10 overtime losses. This would give them about 95.12 points on the season. 95 points. So using that figure, you would expect that the magic number for any wildcard team to be a wildcard team is to hit that 96-point threshold. You need to hit that in order to make the postseason. Now, for a reminder's sake, the Sabres are currently on pace for 81 points. 81 points, 96 points. That's a big gap right there. It's not like this is going to be easy for the Sabres. If we are going to use 96 points as a threshold, as a benchmark, then the Sabres need to go 21 8-6 over their final 33 games. This is a lot of statistics. I know I'm throwing a lot of numbers around. That would mean that the Sabres need to win 72% of their final games. 72%. How are we expecting the Sabres to win 72% of their final games when through 49 games so far this year, they've only won 49% of them? Well, I'll tell you, they need consistent goaltending. They need to take advantage of this easy schedule. And when I say goaltending and easy schedule, a lot of those hopes rest on the shoulders of not Devin Levi, but strangely Ukko Pekka-Luukkonen. Ukko Pekka-Luukkonen has been nothing short of a huge surprise for the Sabres this season. He has really turned into a consistent goaltender. The stats are right where a real NHL caliber goaltender should be now. While the wins and losses haven't necessarily been there on his record, he has been a whole lot better between the pipes this year. The problem for the Sabres now is not only getting UPL, making sure that he continues to play the way he has, but there are serious question marks for the Sabres behind him. Devin Levi, I mentioned, is not the guy anymore that the Sabres are going to be relying their playoff hopes on. Devin Levi has been sent down to the Rochester Americans, and it sounds like he's going to be staying there for a while. That means Eric Comrie is back in Buffalo. And all Sabres fans know, Eric Comrie just has been nothing short of putrid and bad this year. He only has one win in his 7 or 6 appearances for the Sabres. And there's a reason why, too, that he's played less than 10 games this season. The Sabres were more willing to throw Levi, an untested prospect, onto the ice over Eric Comrie. Because when he's in, Comrie just hasn't been reliable. He's extremely inconsistent. He constantly looks rusty, maybe because he never plays, and he has not helped the Sabres win games. Ukko Pekka-Luukkonen has. Ukko Pekka-Luukkonen has won 12 of his 26 games so far this year. He's got a .261 goals against average, .909 save percentage, and spectacularly, he's recorded 3 shutouts this year. So UPL, especially recently, UPL has been fantastic for the Buffalo Sabres. He has started to really play like a number one goaltender. And if there's one thing that I'll praise General Manager Kevin Adams of doing, it's that he stayed patient with Ukko Pekka-Luukkonen. It would have been extremely easy for Kevin Adams to ship Luukkonen off after his really inconsistent 2022-23 season, but he didn't. He stuck on with UPL, maybe not so much his choice, but just kind of the bind he felt he put himself into. And UPL has rewarded the team. Now in front of him, the Sabres desperately need to score more goals. Their offense is probably the biggest reason why the Sabres have regressed this season. And it's not just the entire offense, no. Their 5-on-5 figures are actually pretty good over the last month and a half or so. The biggest problem has been the power play. The power play is one of the worst special teams units in the entire league. They are in the bottom quartile for all major power play stats, shots on goal on the power play stats. It's just not been good. They moved the puck like molasses. You have Kyle Okposo now working as a bumper on the top power play unit. And when Kyle Okposo is still playing on your top power play unit in the year 2024, you know that that unit has some serious issues. So they really, I hope that over this winter break, that they've figured out how to change and tweak the power play, because it just hasn't been good enough. Tage Thompson has been shut down. Alex Tuch isn't very noticeable, too, on the power play unit. Jeff Skinner's the only guy who can score power play goals. Him and Rasmus Dahlin. That's it. That is it. Nobody else can do it. Now, 5-on-5, the Sabres are top 10 in all 5-on-5 stat metrics in terms of offense. But in power play, they are close to dead last. That power play needs to improve if the Sabres are to win 72% of their final 33 games and miraculously make the postseason. That is the only way this can happen. The Sabres need to score goals. UPO needs to maintain what he's been doing. And if those two things happen, then the Sabres, I think, could make it really interesting in the wild card race. It's not over yet. I believe, according to The Athletic, the Sabres playoff odds stand at around 3% right now. 3%. I've seen worse odds than that. The Sabres have the talent. They were expected to make the jump this year, and they finished last year off really strong. The Sabres are going to have to do that, if not more, in order to even sniff playoff contention. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. I was Don. This is Buffalo SportsCenter. Make sure to hit the like button and to subscribe and check out the couple of videos sitting right next over to my head here. Anyways, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I was Don. Goodbye.